Want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
It just gets better every time I hear it. Folks, it is escalating. It is going higher and higher. SHTF is here. It's not going to go away. It's not going to stop. It's not even going to really let up. So let's get into it, folks. I got some details for you. We're going to talk about it. Buckle yourselves in. Hell, you could even call a friend. Tell them that they need to watch as well. So let's get into it. All right, well, we started with where's, well, that was actually Justin Trudeau dressed as Waldo. So where's what's that? True Waldo. Wal Trudeau? Oh my gosh, this guy is nuts. But instead of going right to Canada again, let's go over to Paris. Paris, France. January 24th, their new Cerveza-bug regulations reached a new level, folks, of tyranny. See, this SHTF isn't just in Southern California. It's not a hotspot of New York or Chicago or London. It's the whole planet. We're all dragged into this, folks. It is a global, worldwide, it's a global, worldwide battle against tyranny. Now, in Paris, in France, their nationwide Cerveza-bug, shall we say, passport mandate came into full effect. Under French law, folks, the unjuicenated have been demoted into second-class citizens, and they've been barred entry from stadiums, restaurants, bars, theaters, long-distance flights, regional public transportation, and even grocery stores, folks, without their health pass. Meanwhile, across the channel, England and Ireland, the crisis is over. But in France now, folks, people are pissed because they're cracking down on them harder. Hundreds of demonstrators surrounded the Pfizer headquarters in Paris on Saturday, and they called French President Emmanuel Macron and the Pfizer board, the big shots there, they called them assassins and demanded the end of their mandates. You remember when Macron said he would piss off the unjuicenated people for challenging him? I guess that plan didn't work so well for Macron. It's interesting. We're going to find out. Will the people of Paris continue to stand up for themselves? Remember the yellow vest protests? That was organic. It was natural. It was the people of France saying, no more of your taxes. And then, right, the Black Bloc jumped in there and Antifa jumped in there and tried stealing the thunder from them. The people of France, the French, they're standing up for themselves. God bless them. It's good to see that, folks. But the escalation is continuing to get more. It's continuing to get higher. The reasons for this are becoming self-evident, even though I can't say the words here, which is why I continue to say, number one, get prepared, go to thepreparedmind.club. Number two, get on Patreon. We just shared a video over there, or it's going to be shared. Thank you, Fuzzy. And it's a 13-minute video coming from the InfoWars network talking about what is happening, folks. What is happening now? Happening with Cerveza-bug, with the Jim Jones juice, you name it. Folks, this is incredible. Myocarditis rates up 31% in France, 75% in Germany. For some reason, I wonder what it could be. Geez, this is weird. Or is it? Gotta love satire, folks. Spread the word, share these videos, folks. This is not getting better. It is getting worse. Where do I go, huh? Canada. This is beautiful. Up in Canada, farmers are now joining the trucker blockade, trucker convoy into Ottawa. Farmers are showing up with their tractors the same way the Dutch farmers showed up with their tractors a couple of years ago. Remember, folks, there's people who peacefully protest. And that's what I want to talk about, peaceful protest. And then there are the violent thugs of the left. In those last two videos I did, I discussed how Marxist and Marxist techniques are used to take over a country. Their protests matter, ours don't. We need to make sure ours are understood, folks. It is incredible. I want to sound the alarm, you bet, because it's escalating. This is incredible. Where do I go? Let's do a little bit of around the world. In Ukraine, no war. They're continuing to try and scare us. The leftards are continuing. Now, it doesn't mean it can't happen. Doesn't mean it will happen. It just means we need to keep an eye on it. But Biden is sending 3,000 troops to Poland, Romania, and Germany. In addition, there are 8,500 troops on standby for NATO deployment. But apparently Ukraine says they don't need them, right? They've got a ceasefire with Russia, the Donbass agreement. But it's going to be more rattling of sabers to scare people. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not saying this is the end of the world. I'm saying get prepared. Chance favors the prepared mind. See what they're doing. Understand it. Look to history as a guide. Listen to what the people in charge themselves are saying about what is happening. Now, while we're in the military, let's go and talk about a lieutenant colonel. That's right, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, the little snitch that worked under the Trump White House administration, who was leaking information, lying left and right, making up a bunch of crap. Well, he needs a safe space, folks. He is indicative of the U.S. military brass in the Pentagon. He needs a safe space. He needs a closet with a cuddly bear where he can feel safe. He is now suing President Trump and Rudy Giuliani for, quote, witness intimidation. I think witness intimidation would be, what do they call that? That's a crime. That would be prosecuted. I don't know if you can civilly sue, but I guess they'll try. Oh, there we go. I just got a message from Delaware Prepper. Terrific. I've got more on that as well. Anyways, Lieutenant Colonel Alex Vindman sues President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, for intimidating him. Folks, everything about Washington, D.C. is intimidation. You think it wasn't intimidation for the FBI to intimidate every parent in the United States of America? Of course it was. It was intimidation. It was an attempt to intimidate them. That's exactly what they want to do. Do we get to sue them and say, well, I was going to witness something and now I'm an intimidated witness? Folks, he is a witless, intimidated fool. And he is woke. Boy, is the government of the United States of America woke. Unbelievable. Now, Mac over there at Delaware Prepper just said he would come on. We're going to start doing some more interviews around here. I want to start bringing on some self-defense experts. I've got an expert that I'm going to be interviewing this Sunday, and we'll be releasing that Monday next week. He is a martial arts and self-defense, shall we say, expert. He feels confident enough to talk about it. We'll be talking about it not from the realm of go to a dojo, spend hundreds of hours to get your degrees in. We'll be discussing self-defense, SHTF, dealing with people, and just having an all-around good conversation with this guest, Rudy, the urban aboriginal. Geez, it tripped on my tongue. After that, I'm going to arrange something with Mac, and we're going to start having a couple of more of these collaborations. I'm going to need to get Vaughn and Kaz on, Uman some more, etc. Have a little bit of fun, have a little bit of roundtable action, if you will. We need to start really digging in and encouraging each other. And I think having these interviews will be a lot like this, where you feel like you get to participate. And I'm going to try and do interviews live where you guys can ask questions of the guests. But we'll start simple and build back into the interview process that we used to do from time to time. It's a lot of fun. Now, moving on, though, with the escalation of crap going on. The mainstream media, folks, they're a bunch of idiots. They're now lying. And yeah, well, we've known they've been lying, John. They're lying about crazy Americans fighting to defeat the mandates. Why are we crazy? Right? At this time, folks, this is what's important to know with this. The media is calling you crazy because you want to defeat the mandates. You're crazy in France. You're crazy in Canada. You crazy truckers, you crazy farmers, you crazy Americans. Don't you know you're all going to die? Well, if we're going to die, let us go. If we're so bad and you hate us, let us die. Leftists, stop trying to push your shit on us. Folks, at this point in time, it is us versus the media. Who is going to wake up the people? Who is going to convince the people? Who's going to argue the situation? Who is going to drive an agenda? The media wants to keep the people asleep. It wants to argue their propaganda, and it wants to drive the globalist agenda. We want to wake up the people. We want to argue all points. We want to discuss everything about this. And we want the American people's agenda of freedom to be considered. Now, eventually, folks, the media is going to be pushed out of the way. Government's going to slam down with an iron fist for rejecting their lies and their demands, unless we're successful and we successfully defeat the mainstream media. It is truly up to us to defeat our enemies at every step along the way. I think they're moving to the next step with the media, folks. I think they're moving with the next step. I want to talk about that a little bit here. They're escalating what's going on. Jeff Zucker resigns from CNN. Right? The network's stunned. I'm not stunned a bit. Here's a quick recap of CNN's stupidity over the last 12 months. They fired Chris Cuomo for sexual misconduct. Anchor Don Lemon has been accused of sexual assault. Producer Rick Salibi forced out for soliciting underage photos and is under criminal investigation. Producer John Griffin is facing federal sex crimes charges involving children. And Jeffrey Zooman-Tubin was masturbating during a Zoom meeting with his coworkers. That's just CNN, folks. That is just CNN. Isn't it Cup of Joe? Didn't he have a little incident with a woman who just kind of disappeared? His own Chappaquiddick type thing? Oh, yeah. We got some of that going on. But a big story that is showing us, I think, that the big dogs, the globalists, have had it with their media lapdogs. The media lapdogs are doing a terrible job. They can't convince us. They can't scare us. They can't buffalo us. They can't bullshit us. They're losing their effectiveness. They're losing their audience. They're not believable. No one cares what the mainstream media says, so they look to the internet. They look to you and I. They find our conversations on the internet. They find them interesting. They subscribe. They join. They start telling other people, spreading the word. Hey, there's another way to look at this. The mainstream media, the globalists get afraid. They start shutting us down, censoring us, silencing us, punishing us. They're doing all that while the mainstream media fails. I think they're getting ready to purge, folks. Purge the media and introduce a whole new set of Pravda truth propagandists for the government. As evidence, I would like to suggest that the suspension of ABC's The View, not the whole show, just Whoopi Goldberg, because she made an offensive Holocaust comment. Folks, you want some Holocaust, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic commentary? Go listen to Ilhan Omar. Go listen to AOC. Go listen to the Jihad Squad. Elected representatives, Democrats in this country, say far, far, far worse than Whoopi Goldberg. But they're going after Whoopi Goldberg. Hey, will all the big mouth loose cannons be purged from the globalist ranks, their media? Is it time for the cackling idiot trumpeteers to be stomped and replaced with more polished liars? Oh yeah, remember Rachel Maddow? She's going to go recharge. No more The View, no more Joe Rogan, no more Tucker. They want to get rid of Tucker. They want to get rid of Joe Rogan. They've now threatened to get rid of Whoopi. Rachel Maddow's taking a fucking breather. And CNN, Cerveza! And CNN is falling apart. Folks, it's getting hotter in the kitchen. This is the hot spot. The battle right now, as I said, is in the media. Yes, you protest the government, but it's the media talking to the people. They're trying to have the media convince us that it's safe. Oh, you know, the Jim Jones juice is wonderful safe. Oh, it is terrific. Didn't I just tell you about all the myocarditis increases that are coming out statistically? Folks, the numbers everywhere are incredible. The Alex Jones video that's available, the link there on Patreon, the Prepared Mind on Patreon, it's real. It is real, folks. The number of injuries and illnesses that are coming, it's real. Yeah, I love to use satire to make light of it, but it's real. Hey folks, at the Prepared Mind channel, we take your health very seriously. That's why we recommend the Jim Jones juice. That's right, the Jim Jones juice. Get yourself a can today.
Just the friendly homes of America are always prepared for hospitality. Not only on Thanksgiving Day, but every day, all the year around. No matter who comes to call or who happens to drop in.
There's nothing like hitting the Jim Jones juice, laying one down, and feeling that stuff enter your bloodstream. Oh.
Did Bill leave his pop and candy only half eaten? No, sir.
Oh, heart attack! Defibrillator! Ah! Clot! Clot! Ah! Don't forget, call an ambulance when you get your Jim Jones juice, because it's that good. Oh! 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 That's right, folks. Get yours today. Look, it really is a huge problem. MSNBC. That's right. Micah Brzezinski, the co-host of Morning Joe. These people, folks, they're saying that cancel culture is out of hand because Whoopi Goldberg, right, is being suspended. While, hey, the same idiots on MSNBC are demanding Joe Rogan be silenced on Spotify. I think what's happening is the media is learning they are disposable, they are dispensable, they can be gone. They have one job, folks. They have one job. That's to convince you to be afraid and to take the Jim Jones juice. That's their job. They need to convince you that globalism is good, that Joe Biden is good, and the people aren't buying it. They're not buying the juice, and they're not buying the Biden. What are his numbers? Freaking 30% approval, worse than Jimmy Carter. People are demanding he be impeached. Voters, 50% of all voters, 50% of black voters are saying, get rid of the bum. Of course, the American people, even the voters, don't really understand the impeachment process, how it works, and how it would leave us probably in even worse shape. I know that's unbelievable, but putting Kamala Harris in the driver's seat probably wouldn't be any worse. So, you know, these people are now afraid for their jobs. They've been put on notice. silence Joe Rogan, silence the Prepared Mind, silence Alex Jones. They've done a lot of silencing, right? Silence you guys. They don't want you hearing so you can talk, right? They're calling it horrifying and chilling that they're losing their jobs, folks. I think Americans are starting to wake up. American celebrities as well, and realize they have got their, shall we say, gonads on a chopping block. Now, in defense of Joe Rogan, free speech, wanting to have just a conversation on a private channel, on a private network, where nobody has to watch. The Rock, Kevin James, Troy Aikman, Jewel, and Tulsi Gabbard have all come to the defense and have backed Joe Rogan because of free speech. I think they're starting to realize how chilling this cancel culture, this demand for destruction is. Do you think it's a bunch of chitlins sitting around in colleges doing this? No, folks. It is being command and controlled from the higher levels. How to do these things, who to destroy, who to go after. Right? Everyone knows Wayne Johnson, The Rock, big actor. Kevin James, big comedian. Jewel, I think she was a famous at one point singer. Tulsi Gabbard, the disavowed Democrat presidential candidate. Troy Aikman, Super Bowl quarterback for the Cowboys. People are starting to realize what they're doing is dangerous, incredibly dangerous. The media is starting to realize it's their ass. They've got a job. So they're going to try harder, folks. They're going to try to save their asses. Now, I talked about how Lenin, great communist leader, Vladimir Lenin, the other Vlad, what did he do? He used protesters to get power. And then when he got power, he killed the protesters. Right. That's how that shit works. So globalists use the media to get power. And when they get power, they kill the media. Globalists use Antifa and BLM to get power. And when they have full power, they get rid of Antifa and BLM. And you, folks, you don't stand a chance. I don't stand a chance. None of it. We're not allowed to even try to protest, except it's working. I mean, a lot of people go, why do these cops allow Antifa and BLM to riot, burn, loot, and murder? But if an American citizen goes into a frickin' food store to buy food without a mask or without a passport saying they've gotten fully juicinated, one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous concoction ever introduced to people as a good thing, cops will run in, arrest that American citizen, arrest that Frenchman, arrest that Canadian for not having a passport, not wearing their mask. But they'll let burning, looting, and murdering go on. Why are the police doing that? Who's telling the police what to do? Well, the police do what the chief says. The chief does what the mayor says. The mayor, who paid to get them elected? Oh, that's right. There's this guy named George Soros out there who is funding, folks, not the national parties. He is funding individual candidates for district attorney, individual candidates for attorney general, individual candidates for mayor, governor. That's right. Mayors tell the chief what they want, and the chief tells the cops what to do. There's not many degrees of separation between George Soros and then the mayor and then the chief of police and then the cops on the street. It's a pretty tight control technique, wouldn't you say? It's escalating, folks. SHTF is escalating. They're getting ready for their next big move. The media is failing. They're going to need to bring in some more media. They're going to need to cancel the idiots. They're going to need to scare us some more. They want to silence us, but people are realizing, hey, this is starting to turn into a bad thing. The Joe Biden economy. Joe Biden is failing in popularity, so no one's going to listen to him. There was a 500,000 jobs mistake in the Biden economy, folks. Jobs report off by 500,000. Expectations were for 200,000 up, but instead they reported a loss of 301,000 jobs down. That's a 501,000 job discrepancy in the wrong freaking direction. No one's going to listen to Biden. Build back broke, not build back better. Hey, how about build back broke and woke? Because you build back woke and you go broke. This is what they're doing. This is their plan. Now, folks, understand this. All through history, world history, you had communists, you had fascists. All through world history, you've had tyrants and dictators and kings that have gone off the rails, trying to control everyone and take charge of the world. And every single time, somewhere along the line, as they work their power and work their wealth, trying to get up to that pinnacle of control, world domination, at some point, they always fail. At some point along the line, sometimes early they fail. Other times they get more and they fail. Sometimes they get damn close and they fail. The Nazis, if Hitler wasn't such a damn moron, he could have won and defeated Europe and brought it under subjugation. But no, he had to fight in North Africa, had to fight on the Western and an Eastern front. Well, good for us. Otherwise, we'd all be speaking German. We'd all be speaking Deutsch. Who else failed? The Soviets. They came close. World communism came close. England was once an empire that the sun never sat on. It never set. Ever, ever, ever. The sun never set on England. That empire fell. Why? Because of stupidity. These people are making massive, stupid mistakes. But that doesn't mean they'll quit. Tyrants never quit. They never go away. They can't be reasoned with, folks. They will escalate things. Oh, it's beautiful. YouTube just let me know that 7 of our videos are suitable for all advertisers. Isn't that generous of them? I love it how YouTube decides days later that it's okay, that we've done pretty good. See, what they're doing right now is they're punishing us, folks. They're hiding all of our videos and discussions. That's why it's critical for you. Share these videos with everyone you know. Not because I am anything great. It is us working together. The Prepared Mind Network, the R Syndicate, all of us working together, our one loud voice. The same way I could go out and protest, folks. Doesn't matter how tall I am, how big my muscles are, how loud my voice is. One guy staying on a street corner screaming, even with a bullhorn, no good. You, me, all of us come together and start screaming very loudly. That is a cacophony that cannot be ignored. That's what this network is, folks. It is a very expansive tool for disseminating information that the overlords don't like, that the mainstream media is fearful of, that the administration in Washington, D.C. and the bureaucracy cannot stand. Folks, it was all bullshit. You've probably heard of this thing called Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins, medical stuff. Johns Hopkins Hospital. They did a study and found it was all BS. They found that lockdowns, quote, imposed enormous economic and social costs. Additionally, according to Johns Hopkins, their study, that it had little to no effect. Lockdowns had little to no effect. Well, the little booster rooster, the little cock that could, or at least he wished he could. Why did they do it? 2 years ago, I said the reason they're doing this is to hide this total economic collapse that occurred in September of 2019. That's right, folks. It is now February, Groundhog Day of 2022. Almost 2.5 years later, they're hiding the economic collapse. They're hiding it behind Cerveza-Bug. They're also using Cerveza-Bug to mask their massive globalist takeover of all these countries. Look at what's happened, folks. You're canceled. There's riots. There's incredible protests that are totally violent. people's rights are being destroyed, ignored, put down, locked down. Australia, terribly, is being locked down. New Zealand locked down. Canada, they're trying to lock them down. Parts of the United States, they want to lock down. A lot of Europe is still locked down, while other countries are saying, no more, we've had enough. It's not working, and they know there's a problem, folks. They know. They've got everyone so afraid now. They've got everyone so afraid that they forgot what life used to be like. That a little problem, folks, was something that you just dealt with and you overcame. Today, 1,500 flights have been canceled because several governors have declared states of emergency. What is this emergency? Is it cerveza bug? No, the state of emergency they're declaring now is storms. So here's this belt in the middle of the United States. You got the United States, and then there's this belt in the middle that is being hammered with a winter storm. Here's this United States. Up above the United States, closer to the North Pole, is Canada. In Canada, they have even more horrific weather, yet they have a trucking convoy to protest tyranny. Farmers are joining them. They got to Ottawa and they're playing hockey in the street because it's iced over while they protest. Gotta love Canadians. But in America, we have a snowstorm and now they've declared a state of emergency and shut down the flights. They want everything to be so scary. We have to be afraid. You have to be like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman and go hide in a closet and hug your teddy bear. You have to be like General Milley, Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. You got to be like him and be an absolute coward and blame yourself and look up, white frustration and white anger and what I mean, these woke idiots and these woke tarts, folks. It is the real world. We used to be able to deal with this stuff. Unbelievable. I need to get to your questions. We got a lot to talk about. You don't have to have a great question. You don't have to have a great statement. You can just have a topic you want to cover. Just put the topic up, and if I haven't covered it already, we'll discuss it. But this is your chance on Patreon to ask a question, make a statement, crack a joke sometimes. Let's get to it, folks. Let's find out what's going on. It's time for the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Woo! There we go, folks. It is hump day. Let's talk about some stuff. We got Frankie Rios checking in. He says, hey, John, that's not all they're hiding. Do you remember Bill Shatner's cryptic breakdown after coming back from space? Well, I'm beginning to understand what he was hinting at. Is that it, Frankie? You're beginning to understand what he was hinting at? I do remember Bill Shatner. Folks, Bill Shatner. Captain Kirk of the Enterprise, right? The original captain of the original television show Star Trek, started an incredible science fiction explosion in the world of entertainment, television, and predictive programming. So what is it, Frankie? What are you saying? What is it that you think he was hinting at? Throw it up there, man. Throw it up there while I wait for that. You've heard of the gunfight at the OK Corral? Well, just, was it yesterday? They had a steak fight at the Golden Corral. Folks, the Wild West is back. That's right. So someone was quoted saying, all I wanted was some steak. A massive brawl broke out at a Golden Corral, all-you-can-eat buffet in Ben Salim, Pennsylvania. Unbelievable, folks. There's tension. There's fear. There's anger. And the people I saw in the video didn't look like they missed very many meals. If they're hungry, having to wait a couple extra minutes for a steak at a all-you-can-eat buffet, if they're feeling that threatened by missing, taking an extra 10 minutes to eat their food, how do you think these people are going to react if their store doesn't have their Funyuns or their Cheetos or their flaming hot whatevers. Be prepared, folks. You don't want to be in that environment. Apparently at this Wild West brawl at the Golden Corral, they're picking up chairs and slamming each other with chairs. Incredible. All right. What do you got for me, Jolene? Sally Sue said, saw a crowd of Karens gang up on a security guard and insist he was breaking the law after he let people enter the store without masks. He told them it was recommended but not required. What is it that makes people believe or behave like this? They seem to want to be controlled. Oh, the psychology, the control mechanism. Remember, this is a great example. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, governments love control. Tyrants love control. And there's levels of control. You can use bombs, rockets, missiles, and that's very expensive and very destructive. You can use the police. Once again, that's direct intimidation, cops, guns, lights, arrests, handcuffs, courts, jails, prisons. It's very expensive. And then you've got influence, people knowing that the law prohibits certain behavior. Then you've got media. Media castigates, shames, and promotes a certain way of thinking. And then you have everyday social control mechanisms, the people on people. Yeah, now listen here, Bob, I don't think you should be talking like that. That's not very nice when you called that person a homo. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. I didn't think it was an inappropriate term. Well, you better keep up with your PC stuff, Bob. That's politically incorrect. Yeah, you need to learn to talk to those guys, right? Or gals. No. I'm sorry. I messed up. I should have used a gender unspecific way to describe whatever the hell those freaks are. Oh, I keep doing it, right? It's impossible to keep up with these fucking people. Unbelievable. What is it that makes people behave like this? Well, there's a little bit of tyrant in everybody. Sure, I felt a desire to be a tyrannical jackass. Yeah. You know, I've been in positions of authority and control, but you know, did I rule with an iron fist my maintenance department? Yeah, no, that's not the way to run things, right? But you can, I mean, we all have tyrannical moments, and we're all buttholes for a few minutes. But listen, these Karens out there, these people you're speaking of, they have a desire to control people. These are these bitchy wives and husbands, these dominating moms and dads that you've seen out there. Then they get older into their 50s, like I am. Can't believe I'm 52. 50s and 60s. And what do? They turn into those grouchy old people. Get off of my lawn, right? Get off of my neighbor's lawn. It's late. It's past 7:30. You kids should be at home in bed, right? And they start screaming at people. Well, they think that because a store makes a recommendation of putting on a mask, that jives with, that goes in line with their way of thinking. Yeah, everyone should be wearing masks. And consequently, right, they start yelling at people. And so I can see how they could get all worked up like a bunch of cackling chickens. Oh, the mask, Omicron. And just go after this guy and start henpecking the fuck out of him. And he says, hey, look, there's no law. It's a recommendation. Unbelievable. Yeah, they want to be controlled, and they also love exercising that control power. It's all part of the same mindset, the same psychology. And throughout history, folks, we've had empires come and empires go. Empires come, empires go. Empires come, empires go. And every time an empire grows, it grows to a certain point. And the people that made it grow, those who innovate, work hard, produce, and are prosperous, those are the people responsible for growth in an empire. Those responsible for its decline are the takers. Those who are responsible for an empire's decline are the tyrants who don't allow prosperity, who kill freedom. They're freedom killers who want to control people. They want to feel powerful because an empire, folks, creates prosperity for that empire up to the point where it tops off. Populations increase, and you get a lot of, shall we say, undesirable personality types that create more undesirable personality types. They breed, folks. They screw and they make more of them just like them. And when empires fail, guess what? Those are the first people to die off. The idiots out there, the loudmouths, the unproductive parasites. They end up dying off until that empire is gone and vanquished. And then the next empire that has an opportunity to grow starts with its producers. All right, I just got a very urgent message. 1 second. Steve, USMC, no tolerance. Brother Steve, combat veteran, United States Marine Corps in Vietnam. He says he's in the hospital. He has pneumonia, and he's asking for prayers. And I would like to ask you to send some prayers up there for Steve. Help him with his health. He has been a patriot his whole life. He's been a fighter, both on the front lines and back here domestically. So a moment of silence, please, for Steve, and a prayer. Thank you very much. Brother Steve, I pray for your quick heal. Okay, let's move on if we can. Life is real, folks. Bad things happen. Help those that you can, right? We know how to do good. Okay, we got Blondie Blue 2A says, when members of the resident administration, Resident Gigi, when members of the presidential administration call for individuals to be censored by private corporations, we have full out fascism. A lot of people are outraged at the idea. A lot of people absolutely refuse to accept the notion that the United States of America, the government, not us, the United States people, but the United States government in Washington, D.C., they absolutely refuse to consider that it is fascist. Because everyone, when they think fascism, they think Nazis, swastika, Gestapo, right? That's what they think. They think of the SS, they think of goose stepping, they think of leather coats, leather boots. That's not what fascism is. Those people were fascists, but that's not what fascism is. What fascism is the cooperation between corporate power, big money, and the state, the government. When the state and the government, the state is the government, when the state or the government works hand in hand for the benefit of corporate power, big rich power, and big rich power works and gives money to the government, when they cooperate and we're out of the deal, you have fascism. How did Hitler get all that power? He got political power because he had political money backing and political donations. Very powerful people pushing, advertising, buying speakers. They buy a company, right? Or a company buys little companies. All of these companies throw money at. They run commercials, advertising, propaganda, fundraisers, meetings. Pow! That's how the political system works. And they pump all this money into it and control it. Right? So that's how the Germans, that's how the Nazis took power over Germany. Money pushing behind it. When the Nazis had power and control of the government, they responded by rewarding those companies with contracts, business. Now remember, companies, corporations, owe the government their existence. So the government can pull their business license and say, you over there, you're out of business, you're out of business, you're out of business. You, Walmart, are good. You, Lowe's and Home Depot, you're good. You, General Electric, are good. You, Ford Motor Company, you're good. Everyone else, you're out of the picture. And so they enrich those that support them, and they crush those that don't. That's what's going on. What do we have in the United States of America? Let's see. Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, you see what I'm saying here? AstraZeneca, anyone? These companies are pumping huge amounts of money into the elections. And isn't it funny how their products get pushed by the government back on us? Big people like Bill Gates and their families and their friends want the population of the world to come down. Georgia Guidestone style, this demand, this desire by these rich people to lower the population has been going on for well over 150 years. The eugenicists, the global population people, population control, they have been around for well over 100 years, folks. Well over 100 years. And who is their number one guy right now up at the top and for everyone to see? Bill Gates. Bill Gates is involved in what? Everything. Bill Gates loves doing his medical research. Bill Gates, I guess he has the same medical degree I do. None. Yet he's considered an expert. Why? His money, folks. His money talks. That is fascism. His money talks. And he gets all kinds of what? Consideration. He gets financial contracts. Do you think the government does or doesn't pay millions upon millions, if not billions of dollars to use Microsoft software? Right? You and I used to buy computers that had software on it. We're like, yay, we got Microsoft. No problem. If you want to use those Office products in a professional, commercial or government capacity, you have to pay annual royalties. Right? Companies don't get to use it for free. They don't get to buy one disk and spread it around the office. That'll get you a serious fine. Fascism, folks. Big corporate power. Wealthy elite controlling government, getting their people put in positions of power, and then benefiting from it. The people lose. Our rights are stepped on. We're just pawns in this game. Very dangerous, very serious. In fact, I wanted to bring this up. California's single-payer healthcare system. The idea that they would double the taxes in California and what? Put everyone on government-run healthcare. Well, it died. It got, I think, like 100% of the votes in the Assembly, their version of the House of Representatives in California. But the Senate killed it. Do you think Blue Cross, Blue Shield of California, do you think that private corporation, do you think they're going to allow their big corporate medical system get thrown out of California? That system died, folks. That claim that they wanted a communist style system in California. Do you think California's communist, or do you think California is fascist? Well, they're using Marxist communist techniques, but they're creating a fascist state. Well, it already is there in my opinion, but they're making it worse. Let's move on if we shall. It's your guys' time. I know I've got a lot to say, but you do too. We got John Lord. He says, when the left has taken over the government, academics, movies, entertainment, and military, they have all the controls of the nation. We are now in faux government over the people. You bet. It is faux. It is fascist. It is over us. You mentioned in here movies and entertainment. That is what media is. Mainstream media, also news, Mr. Lord. Awesome point to prove that once they control all this stuff, they can really escalate their control. The media, the tighter they squeeze us, the more we slip between their fingers. They don't like communications apps like Signal. They don't even like text messages. They wanted T-Mobile, folks. Was it T-Mobile? I think it was T-Mobile, who's now firing their people. They wanted T-Mobile to go into people's text messages and remove anything that has to do with disinformation. Stuff they say is disinformation. They want to control us. They don't like us thinking. That's the power of the media. Social media, big tech media, mainstream media, entertainment, movies, etc. Frankie Rio says, they are scorched earth by stealth. They are geoengineering the planet to death. Aluminum and barium, if it doesn't get halted soon, desert planet. That's what you're talking about. That's what Frankie Rios was talking about when he said William Shatner, Captain Kirk, went up in a high elevation space capsule and rotated around the entire planet and looked around. Yeah, he may have seen some things he didn't like up there. I have news for people. Your view of space from space would surprise you, I think. They love to show us the big blue marble, blue marble and green continents. The planet doesn't quite look like that. In the winter, most of North America is white. It's called snow. Snow lands on the ground and it's white. I bet if you looked at the United States of America in winter, like January, February, it's going to be white, not green. Right? Canada, white. Europe, white. Russia, white. Half the world looking at it from outer space would be white. In the summer, it's brown. Everything is dry and cooked, except in the tropics. You fly around the planet at a super high elevation, from one of these little capsules, everything's going to look fucking crazy, right? With the exception of the tropics and, I don't know, the Nile River Valley, the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, and Missouri Valley, right, the Central Valley of California. Even still, yeah, it's going to look all brown and crispy. And then you got places that really are deserts, like the Sahara and the Gobi. It's incredible. Yeah, there's a couple times during the year when everything's bright green because it's springtime, right? Lots of rain, everything's moist, green grass coming up. That lasts just a few weeks before everything turns crispy brown. In the winter, it's snow white, literally. So what did he see? Don't know. But the world is not what they claim it is. And what it is they're trying to do, the powers that be don't want to tell us. They just don't, folks. They don't like us. They don't want us to know. Nope, they do not. What else have we got? What are the topics that are on your minds out there? We got Latin American preparedness. He says, the freedom trucker protest in Canada has expanded to other parts of Canada. Continuing, it says continued. Jolene, help. He says the mainstream media and some politicians are not favorable to the protests and could. What would happen if a shoot on site order happens? That would be fascinating. I don't want to see anyone get shot. Our Canadian brothers and sisters to the north, they're a softer sort of person, eh? Right? They're a little calmer than us Americans, but they've had enough of this shit. They have been using in Canada the same way they are in Australia. They're using their police to beat people down, to violate the rights of others. We've seen them arrest clergy for wanting their churches open during all of the lockdowns. Remember that shit? They went to someone's house or their church and put a fence up around it, a security fence, so people couldn't get into the church. They're doing all they can, government, to stop people from protesting, to stop people from being free. And they're failing. People are waking up and resisting. This is the best thing that could happen, is people waking up and resisting. God bless them in Canada. More protests, more farmers, more industry, more people need to join these folks. The people, the good people of Canada, have been cheering on, greeting the convoy as it's gone through their towns, gone through their cities on the way to the capital. Canada, the 51st state of the United States. Canada, the northernmost United States. Canada, folks. America needs to see the same thing. We need a serious movement in America. Now, America's interesting, right? We've got some states that are absolutely free and you go 2 miles over a border and they're locked down tight. You've had incredible stupid in California. But you go over to Arizona, they're fighting for their lives, for freedom, for voter integrity. They're fighting for their lives, folks, to protect the southern border and keep out the invasion. You go over to Texas, you have a whole nother story. You go over to Florida, you got a whole nother story. You go up to Virginia, folks, you have a massive fight for control of that state. The governor, right, has now stepped in and said no more cerveza bullshit. They've got an attorney general who's saying no more lawlessness. America is an interesting animal indeed. We need to stand up and start shouting, folks. What me and you, again, me and you, we can shout all we want. No one gives a shit. You know dozens, hundreds of people that you can send emails to. Hey, I don't give a shit if you sent them an email last week, last month, or last year. Right? I get emails, folks, by the truckload. And I have to weed through them, go through them, look for the stuff, right? It's incredible the amount of contact I get in a single day. If people want to just put you in the spam thing, put you in the spam thing. You've done your job. Keep telling them to wake up. Right? The question about, I think it was Miss Millie, when do we stop telling them to get prepared? When does it become a problem for us to be telling others? Yeah, there's a point at some point where it's going to become pointless. But also, there's something I wanted to bring up along these lines. Say George and Rebecca over there. They live 20 miles across town. They're your cousins, right? Cousin and her husband. You've told them for years, get prepared, put some food aside. Hey, why don't you get some fresh shells for your shotgun in case you need to protect yourself? Why don't you get yourself one of them Berkey water filters from John over at the club? It's good to have around. Even if the world doesn't end, you got great chemical-free, clean water. And you've been telling them that forever. Odds are your cousin and her husband have heard about prepping from someone else. They've heard about it from TV. They're hearing about it at work. They're hearing about it on the news. They're hearing about it because they're thinking, what is going on in the world? You keep sending them an email is not going to make you their primary target when things go bad and they're not prepared. There's going to be a dozen people around them. Their neighborhood is going to have people in it who are well prepared. They won't have to necessarily come after you just because you are the one sending the messages on a regular, timely basis. Folks, we are everywhere. This was pretty interesting. And I want that last question in a second here, Jolene. There was someone in the Bay Area, California, the California Bay Area, was in a Starbucks, had a laptop computer with a rainbow flag sticker on it. That person was watching this channel in a Starbucks with a rainbow sticker on their laptop in the Bay Area. I just wanted that person to know that a Prepared Mind Network member saw you. We've got eyes everywhere, folks. And even people with rainbow stickers are listening to what it is we're talking about. We are much bigger than YouTube lets on. You are much more powerful than you can believe. Stand on a street corner, you'll think you're all alone. Using social media, using your email, using your text, using the comment section at your representative, your senator, your governor, your attorney general, whoever, you are incredibly powerful and loud. Yeah, there's a fascist superstate out there fighting to tear you down, tear us all down, but we're reaching people. People are seeing other people, right? Just like this rainbow flag sticker having person watching me in a Starbucks in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't want to get any more specific than that. You make a difference. Don't believe the opposite. Don't let the mainstream media convince you that what you have to say and think is unimportant and that no one cares. It matters, folks. People are waking up. People want to know what the hell is going on. Last question, we got Jay Clifton. He says, do you think America is going to put up a bigger fight against a truckers convoy than Canada did? Got to know what your thoughts are. America needs to put up a trucker convoy. America needs to put up a farmer convoy. America needs to do this at every state capital and in Washington, D.C. The government will try and stop it. You bet. Every blue state, blue city, communist, fascist scumbag will try and stop it. Now, are we proposing that we shut down cities and starve people? Violate other people's rights? Certainly, folks, not as much as BLM and Antifa did. No violence. We don't encourage, incite, promote or violence, dangerous, harmful behavior. No, no, no. We do not violate any guidelines or rules on YouTube. Nope, don't do it. But I think we do need a lot more of these. And the governments, these liberal, left-wing, globalist supported and backed governments will try and stop it. Do they have a right to stop it? The answer is no. No, they do not. Does this convoy in Canada have a permit? Do they need a permit? Why are you going to ask permission to exercise your First Amendment right to redress for grievance? Serious grievances at this point. Did BLM get permits to burn stores, commit arson? Did BLM and Antifa get permits to assault police? Did BLM and Antifa get permits to loot stores, to destroy businesses? Did they get permits to murder people? Now, once again, Lenin used these same types of people, these Karens, to whine and complain and point to people they didn't like so their thugs could go beat on them and whip on them. And they were ignored and allowed to get away with their crimes under Lenin and under Stalin and under any other communist leader, as long as it got them what they needed. And then when those groups became unneeded, governments, Nazis, communists would go in and just kill those people. They don't need them. They want to stop us, folks. They'll use whatever techniques they need until they have absolute control. See, that's what we're trying to stop, is their desire. No, we can't stop their desire. Stop their efforts to gain absolute control. And the more we fight, folks, the more they will punish us. They don't have a right to stop you. They don't have a right to do anything about your rights. They do have a duty and authority to stop criminal behavior, which the left showed us they're willing to commit. But they wouldn't stop that because it served their purposes. That's how evil and nefarious these pricks are. So one, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, plan. Do it. Go to thepreparedmind.club. That is your superstore for getting prepper needs. Like Commando Chow. This is Thrive Life. Thank you, Thrive. Thank you, Jolene. Mashed potatoes. Hey, guess what this is? Freeze-dried meat that they sent me, and it is delicious. Get your prepper chow. Get your self-defense. Get a plan together. Understand that these people, folks, they're accelerating their program and they mean business. This is not a joke. It's not a hobby. They're not just giving it a try just to see what the hell happens. They're going for it. It has hit the fan and they are not backing down. They are prepared to go all the way. Are you prepared to stand up for yourself and protect those that you love and your nation? Just some questions. Some silly old questions, right? I think you can handle the truth, folks. That's why I give it to you. Godspeed to you all. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you're a prepper? Semper Fi.